Alrighty everyone, well game number 3 in this best of 5 series finds us on Kings Cove LE. Spawning here, in the top left hand corner of the map, playing with the blue Terran pieces. He's currently on match point and wants to finish up this series right here and right now. His name is Time. And his opponent spawning in the bottom right hand corner of the map, playing with the red Protoss pieces. He's currently down and wants to get on the scoreboard. His name is Harstem. So guys and girls, this series has been one of a couple of things, right? We've had a little bit of some cheese in it. We had Harstem, going for some different types of builds to try to throw Time off. But Time has kind of just stayed on the straight and narrow and is just not really veered much from that, kind of waiting on his time. He's being very patient and overwhelming Harstem in both games 1 and 2 in basically very similar fashion. He is just absolutely dominating at this stage. We're talking, this was a game in a series that was played at the WCS spring event, was one of the series in the round of 16 of that tournament. And guys, we've seen Time. This is a guy who can take games off of players like Cyril, like some of the best players in the world. This is a guy who is up and coming, and there is absolutely no doubt about it. And, Harstem, of course, has been around the community and just in the, has been a pro gamer for a long time in StarCraft 2. And, when, he's having a hard time against Time, really trying to figure out, okay, what should I do in order to get a game off of him, because it is a very difficult thing to do against Time. And we're starting to see that more and more as these tournaments kind of unfold for us. But Time has a lot of patience. He's similar to a player like Cyril, except, of course, playing with the Terran pieces. He's very patient and kind of waits for his moment. And when he has that moment, he strikes, and it is absolutely devastating for a player, to say the least. But that being said, guys, Harstem is certainly not out of this thing just yet. I mean, if he can turn the tide or turn the momentum in his favor with just winning one game, that can really help the morale of a player as far as getting back into a tournament. We are going to see a Reaper that's going to be coming across the map here, starting to do a little bit of some damage to a pylon. Wants to, just take out that shield at least, right? But it does look like Time also wants to use this Reaper just for, that scouting information as well, which is extremely important, just to see the timing on that natural nexus and such. We are going to see Time getting his natural command center out, and we're going to, of course, see the barracks factory and then a second barracks instead of the starport, at least at this point. On the opposite side, we are going to see a change up once again. So a third time we're seeing a different kind of build order. Harstem is going ahead and he's getting the Stargate out. So he's just pulling out everything, every different kind of strategy out of the book for the pros to try to take down Time. Can he do it? We're going to find out as he is going ahead and getting that Oracle out. We're also going to see the Cybernetics Corps is going to be researching the Warp Gate. We're going to be seeing the Twilight Council coming in once again as well. But just change-ups after change-ups here for Harstem. He is trying to figure out what can he do to just get back into the series. And, guys, the answer, I don't really know. It's a hard thing. Time is playing out of his mind. He's playing lights out. I love the way that Time has been playing this series so far. It's going to be very interesting to say the least. But he's at least going to get, Harstem is going to get a little bit of some scouting information with that Oracle, to say the least. Warp Gate's going to be finished up in less than 5 seconds for Harstem. And now on the opposite side of the map, we're going to start seeing, the Marine. We're starting to see the Widow Mine. So, I mean, honestly, not much of a change-up. Now, we are going to start seeing some Vikings coming out of the starport, but not a lot of change-up. The one thing, it would be, I think this would, obviously the Viking is a counter to none other than the Oracle, but we're going to see Stimpack being researched right now, and we're also going to be seeing the follow-up here with more and more barracks coming in now, as the tech labs being put onto that factory. And I gotta say, you know what? I think that this, both these players are starting to, it looks like in this game, they're giving each other a good amount of respect here in the early stages. Nothing too aggressive as of yet. It does look like Harstem is moving out with some units, as in Stalkers as well as Adepts. But I think this is more so going to be to try to maybe just see what kind of damage he can do. Now, here we go. It does look like both players do see each other here. These medevac do not want to lose this medevac here, as those Widow Mines are going to try and do what they can. But beautiful scout there by Harstem. He was able to track down that Widow Mine and that medevac, and now he's going to be able to have the proper units here to kind of fend off this medevac, to say the least. Impact's finishing up, as well as Blink for both players. And the third Nexus is now down for Harstem, and this is what he's been trying to do the entire time. Is he's been trying over and over again to just trying to get an advantage at some point. And more and more actions happening here over at Harstem's side of the map. We're going to see a couple more gateways are going to be constructed at this point. We're going to see charge being researched, as well as those +1 upgrades out of the Forge. So, I mean, both players, like I said, they're giving each other some respect, at least at this point in the game. Harstem, one thing that's kind of surprising is, does Time know about this third command center? He has no idea about this right now. So he is moving out right now, which I like that decision a lot. But Harstem's been mining on this third Nexus, and this could get very interesting extremely quickly, because there's a lot of units here that are starting to move out towards that third Nexus. And could this be a third time that Time goes ahead and takes advantage of the quick third Nexus? And it does look like, here we go, force field is going to be coming in, and the micro is going to be started, and it does look like Harstem's going to be pushed back, at least for the time being. Oh, it comes down to this micro, and man, this is going to be a very interesting position because of these shield batteries. It does look like at this point Harstem is actually holding on for dear life here, as a lot of these units are going to have to get up and fly away. And it looks like Harstem was able to take advantage there, and now Time is going ahead and getting his third command center. So I gotta say, Harstem actually, he won that engagement without a doubt. I felt a little bit of an overextension there by Time. So now we're kind of an eye for an eye. Both players are, on similar footing here, as it looks like Time is going to once again try to do a little bit of some damage here. He's going to go ahead, burrow those Widow Mines. You want to be very, very careful here. You do not want to get these Widow Mines, could have some devastation. But it does look like, once again, I feel like Time is just overextending just a little bit, as it does look like at this point our Protoss player is taking a little bit of a lead, I think, as far as I'm concerned. Now, the longer the game goes, Time, of course, can get back into this game. But Harstem, I think this is an opportunity. He has to strike here. He has got to get back in this series. Of course, if he wants to have any shot at moving onwards to the round of 8. Now, we are going to see a little bit of some play here as far as down near that third command center. So both players are kind of, they're doing a good job with scouting. They know kind of what's going on either side of the map. Now, we are going to see the armory is going to be constructed now for Time. He's also got an engineering bay going down as well. We're going to see disruptors coming out of the robotics facility. So both players are we're starting to see, we're kind of moving into that mid, the mid game here. So we passed that 9-minute mark. And both of these players, I mean, it looks like, both players are on similar, like I said, on similar footing. I'd have to give the advantage slightly to Harstem, but I mean, one engagement, and look at this. Time is not holding, he is not holding back at all. He wants to do as much damage as possible, as we are going to see that mass revelation on a lot of these Terran units. But it might not matter that much, as here we go. we are going to see, of course, these liberation zones are really going to shade away a lot of these units, doing a lot of damage there. I don't know if I like Harstem trying to do, you know, some damage in there, or try to take out those liberators. And it does look like, once again, these disruptors could be disruptive, no pun intended, but we are going to see, oh my god, beautiful disruptor hits. Harstem is getting some nice connections. I gotta say, with these disruptors, those disruptor hits are absolutely doing some incredible amounts of damage to this army. Time not really paying enough attention to this army down here. Now it does look like, here we go, looks like Harstem wants to jump on top of this army, but at the same time he's not really committing fully to it for some reason. He's got the army here. I would definitely I would think that he would go after this, at least at this point, and not allow these liberators to do much damage, as it looks like right now Time is going to move on to the opposite side of this of the ramp. He wants to go after this third nexus. Once again, he wants to get a nice angle here. Does look like Blink is going to be activated, going to try to chase down this army as much as possible, and it does look like a lot of these units are going to be caught in the middle of the field. Oh my god, Time is kind of making a little bit of some mistakes here, and if there was ever a moment for Harstem to pounce on his opponent, it would be right now, because Time is going for his fourth command center, and that's exactly what Harstem knows now. He knows he's going for that fourth command center, but at the same time a drop comes in. This drop could be devastating if Time doesn't get, or if Harstem doesn't get back. It does look like he is going to go ahead, and he does clean that all up, but you know, damage is being dealt, and Time is trying to stay in this game. He's trying to stay in the game, of course, and he's doing a pretty good job of that, as those +2 upgrades are coming in for both players. Now we're seeing the fourth hatchery coming in, right? That fourth command center is almost done, that planetary fortress, and I gotta say, the longer this goes, I think this is definitely, I mean, this is Harstem's game that he has got to win, obviously. But I just don't know. Can he close out Time at this point? Can he close out Time and get back into this series? It's going to be a very difficult one, to say the least. I feel like Harstem's got a very good opportunity here to do exactly that. I just feel that he needs to start doing some significant damage to the army composition of Time. And here we go. We're going to see a warp in here by Harstem. He's going to try to do as much damage as possible in that main base location. Beautiful, disruptive play here by Harstem, but it looks like it's going to most likely get cleaned up here relatively quickly. We got, of course, the drop came in. Medevac comes in with a bunch of units, and, that damage is dealt. But I don't think that was enough damage, but what it's doing is Harstem's keeping Time on his toes. This is a great matchup. This is an absolutely great game between these two, as we are going to see, as we pass, approaching that 13.5-minute mark. It's all going to come down to the positioning and the micro of these players. And it's going to be on full display here, I'm sure, very shortly, as infantry armor level 2 as well as ship weapons level 1 are going to be finishing up in less than 10 seconds now for Time. And you got to wonder. Both players are, of course, with the upgrade count, both players are doing pretty solid jobs of staying ahead of course, the upgrades. But who's really got the advantage here? Here we go. Harstem once again, almost taking out a bunch of these units, and almost taking out those medevacs. I mean, and that could have been game over right there. Time is able to live another day at this point. But if I'm Harstem, I am moving in on this planetary fortress without a doubt. I'm not sure what the delay is here for Harstem, deciding not to, to really push in there, just kind of giving that respect, like kind of just, I don't know if he's buying himself time, but what he's actually doing is buying a lot of time for Time. And so Time's having more and more, he's given some more opportunity to get back into this game here, because he's behind. He is certainly behind right now, but the longer this game goes, he's going to be able to get back into it. So I think Harstem is he hasn't made up his mind as to what he wants to do exactly, as far as if he wants to just play a defensive game. It may be that he's just concerned about the drop play of Time. And I think Time is doing exactly that. And see, this is pulling his entire army. A handful of units is pulling the entirety of a army down. And so now it looks like, here we go. Harstem looks like he actually wants to start doing some damage. The Ghost Cannon is down here as well, so now that is scouted by Harstem. But here we go. It's all going to come down to that. It's all going to come down to both players and what they decide to do here. Who is going to take on who first? But it does look like at the same time, Time is taking out so many units here as the mass recall once again is called. Time is just slowly but surely bleeding his opponent dry as the mass recall is initiated. And Time is, he's just playing lights out. Really, he's playing perfect StarCraft 2. If any of you out there are Terran players, I would highly recommend watching some of Time's replays and really learning some of those build orders, because he is playing absolutely incredibly against a veteran Protoss player, to say the least. So Time is playing very, very well, and I think that he's behind in the supply still, but I feel that with some of these engagements, it's certainly put him back into a position of strength where he really could get back into this thing and overwhelm Harstem. Simply because he did so much damage down here. He's once again doing the same thing again, being disruptive is Time. He's going after that 5th Nexus again, and at the same time we have Harstem, who's going to do some drop players, going to have a warping of Zealots trying to hit some important tech structures here, at least for the time being. And it looks like both players trying to go an eye for an eye, but I just don't like that Harstem doesn't really know what he wants to do exactly. If he wants to be all in on fighting, or if he just wants to try to take out little bits and pieces of the army at certain points. So we're going to have to see here, as we are going to see these Vikings are going to try. They take out one of those, they are going to take out one of those Tempests, but I just don't know, guys. I don't know. It's a tough situation that Time is in, but Harstem is in a similar situation where this could get very. All it's going to come down to the engagement as we are approaching that 18-minute mark in the game, and so we're moving into that late game. And so what we're starting to see is more and more Tempest being added on here. We're going to see Storm being added on now for Harstem. And Time is continuing, his production of Liberators, and I like that decision a lot. He's got a lot of Vikings, and of course he's got his Ghost Academy. He's making he's got his Ghost Academy. It looks like he is making a nuke right now, so that's going to be very interesting as well to see how all of this kind of shapes up as this game progresses. Man, Harstem. I feel like he had it. I feel like he has it to a degree. But this drop play, Time is the one dictating the pace of the game. It's not Harstem. Time is absolutely dictating the pace of how this game is shaping up. And while this has all been happening, he has gotten back in this game. Look at the supply, back in the game. I feel that Harstem, if he would have just attacked after his first engagement that really went over well for him, he could have won this match already. But it just seems like Time has been given an opportunity to get back in the game, and now Harstem has to make some decisions quickly here as to what he wants to do. Small amounts of units of Time are really dictating what the outcome or how the pace of the game, because Harstem, every time there's even just a handful of units, is mass recalling half of this army back home. And this is what Time does so well. Time does this so well, and as this is all happening, he's building up a force that is going to be very difficult to work against. I mean, look at this. Liberators, Vikings, Marauders, and Marines, as well as Medevacs, are all here right now at this, what is the third base location. And it does look like these Tempests are going to start to try to move in here, try to do a little bit of some damage, but it does look like Time is going to start to move in here on a lot of these units. He's going to start trying to snipe down that third Nexus and try to slowly but surely take out a lot of these units. Here we go. Does look like storms are going to come in, but oh man, this is a very difficult army that to engage into. Those Tempests are trying to do what they can, but man, Time has just such good control of his army at this point. So many units are starting to go down here by Harstem. And it does look like, here we go, we are going to see the Liberators, all these units are going to start moving in here. I don't know if I like that they're moving in so far, as those storms are going to try to be landed. Oh man, so many units are going down here by Harstem, as Time is just taking out base after base, utilizing those liberation zones, making this such a difficult army to move into. So many units going down here for Harstem. How much longer can he hold on? The Vikings are going to be coming in. If these Tempests go down, this could spell the end. And Time is trying to move on to the round of 8 of the WCS spring event. And Harstem is trying to hold on for dear life here as these Vikings are going after those Tempests. Can they take them out? It doesn't look like there's going to be quite enough of those. But these liberation zones are starting to tell the tale of the tape. They are doing so much damage. Oh my god, all of these Liberators taking out High Templar after High Templar. So many units are going down. The Tempests are almost completely decimated. Time is slowly but surely just moving in on Harstem's territory. And I gotta say, the disruptor hits are absolutely doing damage. As these Liberators once again are going to need to kind of fly on out of there. The disruptors are what's really been helping, but once again, Time is just hitting a lot of these important tech structures. I mean, that robotics facility was so key for our Protoss player. And Time is just consistently making more and more bases as he destroyed, 3 bases there. I mean, he destroyed 3 bases, and now he's re-upping this army, and that's and now it's basically more of the same. Liberators, Marines, Marauders, Medevacs. He's got Ghosts in there too that he can try to snipe down these disruptors. I really like the position now that Time is in. I mean, I loved where Harstem was in. He was playing so well, and then all of a sudden, Time is starting to take over this game. Once again, these liberation zones are doing so much damage. That extended range and everything, these High Templar are going down as well. And now it comes down to more and more of these Tempests are going to have to try to join the fight here. But I just don't know if they can do it because of those Ghosts as well. As, these liberation zones are creating so many problems for these ground-based units. But it just is so back and forth here as Harstem is trying to stay in this game, but another base does fall here for Harstem, and like I said, this is a Serral type move by Time. So Time, of course, guys, obviously is a Terran player, right? But he's playing very similar to what Serral would do with the Zerg pieces. He's bleeding his opponent dry, slowly but surely. Harstem is flooding. He just cannot. I mean, his production has gone down substantially. His mineral production and everything, and Time is just consistently getting more and more bases. I mean, he's in a fantastic position right now to end this thing. His supply is ahead. He's done so much damage at this point. And now if he can take out more important tech structures, I just don't know how much longer can Harstem hold on here. I mean, he's got a nice little army here. He certainly does. He's got a lot of Tempests. He's got those disruptors that will be helpful as well. But just look at all these bases of Time. Time has so many bases, and he's going to try to hit in a good position here. And he's going to go after, the Templar Archives. He's going to try to go after as many of these units as possible. And it does look like, these liberators are trying to, keep these liberation zones as the main army is going after the newly acquired, what is this, 5th base, 6th base of Harstem that he's trying to retake once again, and it's just absolutely not working here for Harstem. He just does not have enough at this point. Now, one bad engagement, though, by Time could turn the tide of all of this, because we could have a significant base race, but I just don't see it happening. I just can't see it happening. Time has so many units at this point. Here come the storms. They're coming down, and it does look like the Tempests are the one last remaining force. GG is called, and Time wins this series and moves on to the round of 8. I hope you guys did enjoy this game in this series between Time and Harstem. And if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you stay positive. And as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.